Hey, we're live. I'm back again. Oh, see, this ain't microphone ain't right. Got dust on me. What a start. Hey, welcome back to the Resonant Pixel Show. I have 5 podcasts I want to share with you today that really lit the fuse under my business. I want to say lit the fuse under my butt. Lit a fire under my butt? There we go. So, I like podcasts. I've always liked podcasts. It's an easy way to consume something that is either interesting or a great distraction or educational while I'm out on the go. You love podcasts too. Don't even be like that. These are the 5. I have said before on this channel, I waited too long before starting my company. I started 5 years ago. I should have started at least 5 years prior to that. And I've also mentioned that I'm not the biggest risk taker in the world, so it makes sense. I'm just saying it tracks. These 5 shows I absolutely love because they helped me understand what it takes to make the leap inside of myself. Maybe practically what it takes, technically what it takes, but that's not the hard stuff. The hard stuff it's in here, and sometimes it requires a bit of a spark. And I thought it would be fun to just share these podcasts. Some of them are archives, some of them are still publishing. And either way, I think there's a ton. A ton to get out of these. Yeah, podcasts can be a slow burn, and they are, especially if they're archives, maybe not always currently relevant. But when it comes to business or self-help stuff, I don't know that stuff ages out all that quickly in general. So here they are. I would say in no particular order. They're certainly not in an order personally, but I think they're in an order that maybe had an impact. How's that? So starting at number 5 is Startup by Gimlet Media. Alex Bloomberg went through the creation of his podcast network and recorded himself behind the scenes in a very intimate way. It was like the Blair Witch Project of business podcasts. And it was honest, it was messy. I found it incredibly inspiring, and it humanized what I had considered scary. It made the leap seem accessible. Not only is it incredibly well produced because he had been a radio producer for his career prior to starting Gimlet Media, which he eventually sold to Spotify, I think. And my guess, I haven't looked for this show in a while. My guess is that you can only get it on Spotify. That's kind of how Spotify rolls. But it's fantastic, and I highly recommend it. The next one, number 4, this one's kind of practical. And full disclosure, I was a guest on this show, Freelance to Founder, about 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Hard to remember now. And got incredible advice. And I had been listening to this show monthly for a couple of years. I was probably 25 or so episodes in before I had the gumption, right? The braveness to just ping them and say, I'll fill out your guest form. I think they plead like, we need guests, go fill out this form. But Freelance to Founder, and I believe it's still live. They're still producing episodes. It is really practical. Like, this is like actionable, practical tips and advice from a couple of people that run businesses. I really appreciate a show that isn't abstract, that isn't speaking at a high level. While I like those shows too, This is like boots on the ground, practical. This is how you get your vision for growth. This is how you problem solve to these things. These are practical ways to manage accounts or manage process or workflow, how to design things, how to manage your time, how to work through the stress, how to deal with burnout. Like, it really helped me form a vision of what, based on the processes and how I work, the processes I enjoy making and using and going through, and how to make it applicable in a day-to-day setting. Like, it was so color by numbers. That's what I appreciated about this show. So, Freelance to Founder, search for it in your podcast app. I really, really enjoy that show. I still listen to that show. So, appreciate you guys. The next thing I'll say is this one is an archive. Show number 3, Quit by Dan Benjamin. It's on, I think his network is the 5x5 network. Dan Benjamin has made 1 million podcast episodes in the last 20 years. And probably one of the first podcasters I ever started listening to consistently. When I started listening to podcasts before the iPhone existed, back in the old iPod days, where you had to have an app on your phone, like some special app on your phone. I think it was called Lemon or something like that. Not on your phone, on your desktop, on your Mac, that you could sync podcasts into iTunes, and then they would show up in the old scroll wheel. Remember the circle scroll wheel, iPod Classic? I had one of those, and that's how long I've been listening to Dan Benjamin's podcasting. Like, literally 25 years almost, since like 2002, 2003, no, maybe 2005, maybe 20 years. This show is so good. It like gives you permission to start thinking about an exit strategy for a job you hate. And not that I hated my job, but I knew that I wanted to do my own thing. I just didn't have the huevos. So it's part pep talk, part practical thought exercise for how to make that transition in a strategic way and not be reckless about it. So you may not always like Dan's advice. I certainly didn't always like Dan's advice, maybe because I wasn't in position for it, because maybe he was like, look, don't do this if you're not here. But in hindsight, I really have come to appreciate it. It was real stories about his transitions and the transitions of the people that he knows. And if you need a pep talk, if you're stuck in a job you hate and you just want practical advice, this archive is incredible. Quit by Dan Benjamin. Amazing. Just freaking amazing. Another one, and this one's probably the most abstract, it's called Back to Work. It's hosted by Dan Benjamin again and another guy named Merlin Mann. And they didn't always talk about the making the transition or how or why they run a business, but they both do. And they talked about work, tools, mindset, but they're entrepreneurs. So it's a funny show, or at least it was. I don't think they've made an episode in 2 years. A lot of it was serious. Like, they cover truths about the practical aspect of running a business and working through burnout and how you feel in certain situations and certain times of the year or up against certain challenges. So they weren't giving business advice. They were just two friends chatting and trying to make each other laugh and talking about tools and mindset in a way that outed, in an abstract way, how to do it. Like, how to do it all. Like, they indirectly gave some of the best advice. And it was incredibly entertaining. I was thinking about going back through that catalog, like pull down a whole year, give it a listen, go on a long walk, 2-3 long walks, and getting back into it. Because it was fairly abstract, I felt like now that I run a business, would I hear it differently? Because when I listened to Back to Work, I was commuting. to a jobby job across town that I liked enough. It was paying the bills. But I quickly found out that when you get let go from a job, you go from income to zero income very quickly. What I know now as an entrepreneur and a business owner is that I have 50 clients. Like, one leaves or closes their business down or fires me, doesn't really happen. Everything's okay. Like, that relationship doesn't sever the entire business. There's no massive saturation of revenue to one client. It's incredibly balanced. So my job's actually safer than a jobby job from a security standpoint, which is now in hindsight blows my mind. I had not considered that before I started this. And number one, this one I listened to. I have a calendar item and reminders on my Apple stuff to go back and re-listen to this episode, this entire show, to binge all the episodes in one sort of thing. It's not even that long. It's like 10 episodes or something like that. Startup School by Seth Godin. This is like pure gold. This is marketing Yoda in your ears, telling you exactly how to think about positioning and how to think about niching, market fit, how to pick a business or design a business that fits the life that you're trying to create, how to think about your goal from an exit standpoint or growth and retirement standpoint or whatever. It's so good at thinking, starting small with thoughts towards whatever trajectory you have in mind for yourself, that I re-listen to it every single year. It's part practical, part inspirational. Like, it's, did I say inspirational? It's awesome. And I hope it never comes down. I hope it never comes down. It's just incredible. So those are the shows in reverse order now. Seth Godin's Startup School, number 1. Number 2, Quit by Dan Benjamin. Number 3, Back to Work by Merlin Mann and Dan Benjamin. Number 4, Freelance to Founder. I think I got the order wrong. Flip those two. And Startup by Gimlet Media or Alex Bloomberg. These shows, I'm telling you, they didn't just entertain. They did. They absolutely did. But they shaped the way I think about what I wanted to design from a business standpoint. And they still affect my creativity when it comes to process and mindset and how do I keep that spark going. So 2 of these, I was like, and I said this a minute ago, I was like, I really want to revisit that show. And the 2 I want to revisit, like I said, are Back to Work and Quit. I'm going to search for them. I'm going to pull down a year's worth of episodes and go on a long walk, binge, and see if they sound different. It's like rereading a book. When you go back and reread a book, once you've done some of the things in the book based on the inspiration, like, you hear it differently, or there's more details, or it just hits different, you know? It just does. Like, if you read Getting Things Done, classic, right? Or Built to Sell, before you've done any action toward the systems that they're telling you about, and then you reread it after, it hits different. These podcasts are no different. And I'm like, I don't know if you can tell, I'm super excited to go back through. It's too bad I got to work for the rest of the day. Otherwise, I would just sit here and binge on those podcasts. But they will come in time. I will get up early tomorrow morning and go for a long walk or run or do my exercises and listen to a couple of these and see how they feel again, see how they fit. So anyway, that's what I got today. Simple stuff, Wednesday, hump day. Keep it light. Keep it light. I have to tell you, before I bounce here, Monday, that screen share I did of the why big feelings of burnout and stuff. I had so much fun doing that screen share. I was lit for 90 minutes after I stopped recording. I think I got some more screen shares in me, honestly. If you want more practical stuff, leave a comment. Dude, also feel free to like and subscribe. I totally didn't say that in this one. But I think that being so fun, maybe I'll go and do that not live. Maybe I'll actually make how-to videos for something Squarespace or my CRM, or we'll find something to make. I just think that it was very enjoyable. It wasn't difficult. And if it was helpful and practical, then awesome. So anyway, I'm done. Those are the 5. That was my thumbnail moment. Did you see that? Did you catch it? That was my thumbnail moment. Enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you Friday, right back here, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I hope you have an incredibly productive remainder of your week.